Shall we go back in time? Time to look at former Sheffield United manager Nigel Clough's final Blades lineup, which was a memorable match, although one that would ultimately prove to end in disappointment for the Red and White Wizards. If you turn on Sky Sports at any time during any day, although seemingly mostly in pre-season, you'll be greeted by this timely reminder that the only Sheffield United match seemingly any neutral remembers is an aggregate defeat. Swindon Town 5, Sheffield United 5 in the League One playoff semi-final second leg. Swindon Town won 7-6 on aggregate after the first leg finished 2-1 to the Robins at Bramall Lane. A Swindon Town team containing Wes Fodringham in goal. I suppose he was quite literally League One Wes back then. John Brayford played in the first leg but wouldn't make it for the second, going off in the first match at half-time, replaced by Stefan Skugel. Skugel, now 31, is plying his trade back in his native homeland with Alloa Athletic. Interesting side note, I was reading about Skugel, and before making it pro, Stefan almost quit football when he was released by Hibs. He worked part-time on the checkout at Sainsbury's and considered applying for a job alongside his dad in the roads department at Edinburgh Council, but he would stick with football and is still a professional today. John Brayford, mid-30s, still playing and still a mainstay in that Burton Albion defence. In total, he's made over 360 appearances for the Brewers, over 2 permanent spells and 1 loan spell. Now to the team that started in Nigel Clough's final Blades match. Then I'll get to the substitutes. We'll begin with Mark Howard, a friend of the channel, the Wrexham backup keeper and podcaster, recently graduated from Staffordshire University. Howard picked up a degree, a BA Honours, in professional sports writing and broadcasting. Fun fact, I also studied broadcasting at the exact same university. Following his time at United, Mark played for, ready for this, Bolton, Blackpool, Salford City, Scunthorpe, Carlisle, and on the 5th of July 2022, following the expiry of his contract at Carlisle, he signed for Disney's Wrexham under the management of Phil Parkinson. Howard played, of course, in the FA Cup 3-all for Wrexham against United. That was an FA Cup 4th round game back in January 2023. He didn't play in the replay. Kieran Freeman is where we jump to next. A Nigel Clough signing from, where else? Derby County. A popular goal-scoring right-back, also proved very useful at setting them up. He actually got an assist in Clough's final game. A player who, since leaving United, has played for 4 clubs, including Portsmouth twice. He's currently at Oldham Athletic in the National League. Quite a few players I'm going to mention have had spells or are still at Oldham. Kezz actually joined Portsmouth on loan whilst with United back in 2016, playing 7 times, but was recalled and got back in favour after Nigel Adkins didn't really fancy him, but Chris Wilder would give him a chance. Now, Chris, you might recall, initially transfer listed Freeman, but threw him back in the first team and it proved a master stroke. Freeman would be a key component of the League One promotion side, and at the end of the 2016-17 season, Freeman featured in the PFA Team of the Year. 141 appearances later, and Kezz had been on the journey. League One, Championship, and even Premier League with the Blades before joining Swindon Town in January 2021. Craig Alcock, he played at the back in Nigel Clough's final game. Actually retired in 2022. Last club was Harlow Town. Alcock never really settled at United, playing at centre-back and then right-back, which was his natural position, but was plagued by persistent and niggling injuries, which ultimately put pay to his time at the club. He made 37 appearances over 2 seasons, was loaned to Doncaster Rovers before they made the move permanent. He would enjoy his time at Donny a little bit more, playing 75 times in 3 years before Cheltenham and Yeovil, also his first club, would become his employers. He would get into coaching at Peterborough, something he continued at Harlow Town, and has since moved into that role at Luton Town. He is their under-18s assistant coach. Jay McKeeverley, or McKeverley, however you say it, last club, according to Wikipedia, seems to be Warrington Town, but there isn't too much information. His LinkedIn suggests he's now a telecommunications engineer having been at Everton as an education development programme coach, whatever that is. Jay made 88 appearances for the Blades, wore the captain's armband, made some crunching tackles, gave away a stupid, needless penalty in Tottenham, and left. It was actually Chris Wilder who released Jay after being appointed manager. And then 𝗼𝗍𝗄 signed a 2-year contract with Scottish Premiership club Ross County in June 2016. After that, he played closer to home with Tranmere Rovers. Left back Bob Harris retired in 2019 after playing 5 games for FC United of Manchester. Like Mark Howard, a friend of the channel, a lovely man who Nick and I watched Preston North End versus Sheffield United with in the stands. He still keeps in touch with many of his former United teammates, particularly 𝗵𝗍𝗶𝗲, and still holds a special place in his heart for the club, as we discovered whilst chatting to him. A good left-back who played 80 times for the club, scoring 3, possibly should have been more, if you're thinking of that Southampton game. A Clough signing who actually had 2 assists in Nigel Clough's final 5-5 thrilling match. On the 18th of February 2016, he signed for Fleetwood Town on loan, then permanently left to play for Bristol Rovers, Telford, and as I already mentioned, FC United of Manchester. Ryan Flynn, replaced by Che Adams in the 85th minute of Nigel Clough's final match, and the winger would leave the Blades after this game. It was actually the 13th of July 2016 he officially would leave. He signed a 2-year deal with then League One side, we'll hear about them again, Oldham Athletic. He's currently 35 and still playing, now with St Mirren. He's played over 140 games for them since 2018. Ryan has also taken his first steps into coaching alongside his playing time with the Saints. Paul Coutts, a popular midfielder with United, but it wasn't always that way. Chris Wilder would get the best out of Paul, or 𝗵𝗍𝗄𝗂𝗂𝐴, if you want to call him by his song name, which no one ever did until I just did then. Coutts would enjoy 4 years at Sheffield United, having been signed by Nigel Clough from, that's right, Derby County. He helped the club win promotion to the Premier League in 2018-19. But of course, he was injured in the Blades' away win at Burton Albion during United's return to the Championship, an injury which many, including me, attribute to the promotion charge falling away that season. It was actually, if you want detail on this, the 17th of November 2017 when a challenge from Marvin Sordell broke his right tibia and ruled him out for the rest of the season. He was never quite the same again. United eventually finished 10th in the second tier that season. After leaving Bristol Rovers, he now apparently plays for Inverurie Loco Works. Inverurie Locos are part of the Breedon Highland League, but you already knew that. Paul is also part of the club's coaching staff. Chris Basham scored in the 38th minute in Clough's final match against Swindon. Bash is still with Sheffield United, although a sickening injury away at Fulham may mean we don't see him again in a Blade shirt. The United legend has become one of the most popular players ever to wear a red and white shirt. He's all action, never say die. What an attitude, and it's endeared him to Blades fans the world over. Bash has played in midfield, right back, centre back, and under Chris Wilder, right centre back, as part of a 3 in which he really came to life. Overlapping down the wing on that right side with Jack O'Connell doing likewise on the left. We may never see the like again. When we look back, Bash was an unassuming signing that will go down as one of the best, not just for value, but for longevity. Bash actually signed for United on the 5th of June 2014, a signing by Nigel Clough. Jamie Murphy, a Danny Wilson signing back in 2013. Jamie would make 122 appearances for Sheffield United, scoring 21. It was under Clough that Murphy really kicked on. He would become a popular player at the club, and it was disappointing when he left for Brighton and Hove Albion in August 2015 for an undisclosed fee reported to be £1.8 million, rising to £2 million based upon Brighton's promotion to the Premier League, which they actually did in 2016-17. Murphy would then play for Rangers, Burton, linking up with Nigel Clough again, Hibs. Following that, it was Mansfield, linking up with Nigel Clough again, then St Johnstone, and finally his current time of recording, certainly, Ayr United. Nigel Clough has a real Neil Warnock-like affinity with former players. It is good to see. Right, nearly there. Matty Doan scored on 88 minutes in Clough's final match, retired after the 21-2022 season at Rochdale. Now Doan is a player development phase coach at Port Vale. 310 appearances for Rochdale. Wow, over 3 spells, incredible. He was signed from Rochdale for the Blades and then sold back to Rochdale after the Blades. And of course, with United, he did well, 87 appearances and 17 goals between 2014 and 2017. Could play at left back, could play up front. Mark McNulty, since leaving United, McNulty has played for 8 clubs, some of them more than once. He's currently, where else? Orange County SC in the American Second Division. Yeehaw, the USL Championship, where his goal-scoring record is less than prolific. 24 appearances, just 3 goals and 1 red card. One memorable moment during his United career actually occurred off the field in November 2014. He was ruled out of games for a little while after sustaining a facial injury because of an altercation in an Edinburgh nightclub. Then United manager Nigel Clough claiming that McNulty was the innocent party. I mean, I don't know how Clough would know that unless he was there. In total, for the Blades, it was 56 appearances, 14 goals. His most prolific spell since leaving United was actually with Coventry City in the 2017-18 season, where he scored 23 goals in 42 league games. Not bad at all. If we get to the subs, Michael Doyle, another we've welcomed on the channel, the man behind the Cockney walk at West Ham when the Blades beat the Hammers in the Cup, retired in 2022 at Notts County, where he was also involved in the coaching staff, but now working as the professional development phase coach at Portsmouth's Youth Academy. Ben Davies, who replaced McNulty in Clough's final match on the hour, scored 5 minutes later, retired in 2021 at Grimsby, was then joint caretaker manager at the Mariners, but has since been replaced by David Artell. Harrison Mackay, currently at Oldham Athletic, where he's been since 2021. Ian Turner, the backup goalkeeper in this game, signed for Southport in 2017 as a player and goalkeeper coach, and then went to former club Tranmere as goalkeeping coach in 2019. Che Adams scored in the 90th minute of Clough's final match. If he'd started, who knows what might have happened in this game. Now the 27-year-old striker is at Southampton after a successful spell at Birmingham City, also a full Scotland international, and one of the most successful players from this final 11, scoring over 100 goals in his career to date. Steve Davies, the on-loan striker for Sheffield United at this time, scored twice in 13 games for the Blades, last seen at Runcorn Town, where he was combining playing with taking his UEFA coaching badges. Jason Holt, the 30-year-old central midfielder, is still playing, currently with Livingston in the Scottish Premier League, with whom he's played over 100 times, having joined them in 2020 from Rangers. 16 appearances in the league for United, 5 goals from midfield, not bad. And that concludes the Nigel Clough final 11. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.